Is it not live? Hello? We are? We are live? Yes! Okay. Hello everyone and welcome to this new live stream here on Access the Animus. My name is Marco. I'm one of the admins of the page and of the project, and today I'm joined by the wonderful mentors Kulpreet and Sebastian. Hello everyone.
Hey guys.
Hi.
So this live stream is going to be focused on the AC Sisterhood movement. So like this movement that has taken the community by storm, and we're going to get into all the details of the movement and the motivations behind it. But before we do that, let's delve into the Sebastian's favorite part, that is introducing the guests. So, Kulpreet, would you like to?
So
yeah. Okay.
We should let her start.
Yeah, Kulpreet, would you like to introduce yourself to our fans?
Sure. I'm Kulpreet.
Whoa.
That was not supposed to happen.
Oh wow. Okay. You really didn't want to present
She
yourself.
desynchronized real bad.
Oh wow. Okay.
Did she do it or did we do it?
Well. Hello, Kulpreet again. Hi.
Look at that.
I don't know what happened there. Anyway, it was introductions, wasn't it? So, yeah, I'm Kulpreet Verdi and I'm a mentor from the Mentors Guild and the founder of AC Sisterhood.
Sebastian, would you like to introduce yourself?
Sure. Hi everyone. I am Mentor Sebastian, also known as Memento Gallery, and that's it.
That's it. Okay.
I'm helping with the movement. Kulpreet needed a logo, and I was like, I didn't even think about it twice. I was like, I'm gonna do it for you, and that's why I'm here. That's it.
No, it was a collective effort. It was a very collective effort.
And you've been very vocal about the movement as well, so you have all the rights.
I've been very angry about this for months. Very vocal too.
Yeah.
I'm really glad she brought it out with this incredible movement. We really needed to give it a name and a direction too.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, and I just think context is quite important just to touch on that. And I guess we're going to discuss kind of how the sisterhood kind of came about anyway. And I don't think we can really delve into that without thinking about what's been happening in the community and at Ubisoft. So I'm obviously aware that not everybody is aware of this. A lot of active members in the community are, but in the past few months, there's been a lot of allegations, a lot of claims of sexual harassment, misconduct, just general mistreatment of women within Ubisoft. It's just been really heartbreaking, really. I mean, I speak from myself, on my perspective, it's not been very nice to be part of the community. The past couple of months, it was very negative. And my heart just really went out to everybody who is affected. I mean, there's even, people in the community who have been victims of really kind of unspeakable things. And I guess that paired with sort of recent comments made by certain people at Ubisoft that women don't sell. There's been things come to light about women having diminished roles in the games. Like, for example, Cassandra was meant to be the lead protagonist for Odyssey. Evie was meant to have the same sort of playtime as Jacob, and I think Elise was meant to have some sort of playable segment as well. And I guess when you put those two things together, you just kind of really feel really strongly that something has to change in terms of representation of women and also kind of raising our voices too. So I guess really that was kind of like the perfect storm for AC Sisterhood. And I just really felt like maybe as a community we could do something to kind of help these people and kind of spread the positivity and really kind of elevate and shine a light on these incredible women who are in the games, who are in development teams and in our community. So that's how it kind of the sisterhood came about.
Okay, so you more or less, like you described that this is about highlighting women both within the games and in the dev teams and also within the community. So can you tell us more about like how the movement came to be? Well, you mentioned a bit of the reasons behind it, but like how did it come to be, and what are the current objectives of the movement?
Okay, so the movement, well, I kind of tweeted, oh, maybe I should start an AC sisterhood when all of this kind of came out. And I didn't really think anybody was going to really pick up on it. And then, yeah, Sebastian did. He was like, oh, yes, you should do this. And I actually thought, it kind of got me thinking, like, it wasn't something that I was like planning to do. It was just something that kind of naturally happened. And I just thought in the AC community, there hasn't really been like a dedicated space to women and to just kind of shine a light on them. It's always been kind of very like when I joined the community, I did think it was quite male dominated. And there are certain kind of pockets in the community where women do feel more welcome than in other pockets. So I thought, well, maybe this is the perfect time to kind of elevate, celebrate, and just, showcase these incredible women.
And what are, like, another question that we were thinking of is like, what are the reason that pushed you specifically to start this movement, and like to start all of this and then gain all this traction by the entirety of the community?
I guess because I am a woman, so it's I think a woman in the AC kind of fandom, I've been supporting these games for so many years now, and every single year when there's a new release, you just kind of think, oh, is this going to be the year where they bring out a woman where she's the sole focus of this yearly release? And I say yearly main release because that is the point, really. And I just feel so strongly about that, because as a woman, you do want representation in the games, and AC is normally really good at that. I mean, you have a lot of diversity in the games anyway, in terms of, the historical settings and the identity of the protagonist. But what they haven't really done is, to date yet, is a fixed kind of female protagonist. And every single year, that's just something that I'm really, really hoping for. And I know that a lot of women as well, and even men who kind of think all women should have a bit more representation in the franchise, do actually agree with. And I think because I feel quite strongly about like women's rights, equality, etc., it's just something that I just feel really strongly about. And I just thought, in light of everything that's come out, and together with this ridiculous comment that women don't sell, it just kind of felt like I had to kind of do something to actually show people, there are amazing women in the Assassin's Creed franchise. There are amazing women, talented women in the development team, and there's also so many talented women in the community itself. I mean, you've seen all the cosplayers, the artists. There's just so many people that kind of deserve a bit more recognition and representation.
Yeah. I see. Hello to everyone in the chat. I'm seeing a few questions already. Before we delve into, we go into the other ones that we have prepared, I see Player 10 is actually asking, can I join the movement? Or like, can I join in general? I am a male. Because this is like a common misconception that I've seen pretty frequently these last days. So, can male join the movement?
Absolutely. We're not saying that because you're male you can't join us. The movement is open to absolutely anybody, regardless of who you are, as long as you support our aims. So if that's something that appeals to you, then absolutely feel free to join us.
So another questions that we have planned for this is like, what are the reasons why you felt to create this kind of hashtag, like the way it is called, like sisterhood? Is that just a play on words, or does it have a meaning?
I guess it's kind of a bit of both, because obviously everybody knows about the brotherhood in the context of Assassin's Creed, and I just thought, sisterhood, it's like women coming together, and it's that plus the play on words. Like a brotherhood is a term which is everybody in the AC fandom knows what it is. So I think sisterhood kind of fits quite nicely with the aim of more representation for women. So that's how that came about.
But at the same time, it's not going against the idea of brotherhood that has been pushed through the games and, you know, the narrative of the franchise.
No, absolutely not. And this is something that we've been seeing quite a lot on social media. People are saying, "Oh my God, you're trying to cancel the brotherhood." It's not that at all. We're just saying that this is just the name of the space, and it's the safe place where you can go. And the way that we see it working is that you can have the brotherhood and you can have the sisterhood, and they can coexist. So it's not we're not cancelling one. That's not the aim here. We're not cancelling the brotherhood.
And I'd like to add that the name sisterhood highlights the resilience of women, how they were fine, perfectly fine with being in a brotherhood without throwing a fuss or making a big problem out of it.
Yeah.
But then you make the sisterhood, and you literally have an entire army of angry people, and you know this kind of highlights this difference, and it's just a name.
Exactly, and we've been fine with being part of this wider brotherhood like that. We've been absolutely fine with that until now, and we're just saying, well, because we want a little bit more kind of recognition, a bit more representation. Actually, having the word sisterhood just kind of fits really nicely with that. So I guess that's where it came from. It's not in any way, shape, or form to say we're going to get rid of the brotherhood at all. To be clear.
So, another question, I think this is more for Sebastian. Like, pictures and symbols are sometimes stronger than words and ideas, or are the best way to carry a message. So we're gonna show the logo here, if I can show it. No. There we go. Okay, so this is the logo for AC Sisterhood. Would you like to tell us a bit more about it? Like, how did it come to be? What were your ideas about it? The message that it's trying to convey?
Well, that was very easy. That was probably the easiest thing I had to design for another person as some sort of commission, which, by the way, that was not a commission. Kulpreet did ask me if I wanted to get, it's a commission, so like, I'm going to pay you for it. But I was like, this is not about it. I don't want to get money for this. I really feel like I really felt this like on a personal level, and what struck me even more is that she already knew what she wanted. It wasn't like, I need you to do this for me, and I have all these ideas, and you have to design something with all these ideas. She knew what she wanted, so we need to give her credit for the idea too. She knew she wanted to have a crest with the snake wrapped around it as a tribute to Amunet, and that really is that simple. It's all a tribute to Amunet.
And why exactly why Amunet and not a tribute to another character? Like, why the snake?
I'll let you answer that one, Sebastian. It's your image.
Thank you. Well, we did argue about the snake a lot internally. There were some doubts that maybe people would see the snake negatively, but there was also someone else brought a little bit more information about the visual, like the representation of, and the meaning of snakes in history and symbolism, and that had something to do with Medusa, who was a misunderstood character. So it's like, I'm missing the English terms here, so I'm gonna need you to help me, like, to take it back for a righteous cause like the sisterhood. Okay. And the reason why Amunet, it's because I don't really know why we picked Amunet. I think of all the assassins, of all the characters that were the female characters that were diminished because of Ubisoft executives, I feel like this one in particular was kind of like, I don't know, the leader of them all. I don't know why we picked her, but I knew that it was right when she said that she wanted to have the snake around it, and that she wanted it to be a tribute to Amunet.
And it did work pretty well, to be honest. Like it's stunning. The logo is incredible.
I didn't even do any other. I usually do like a few different kind of designs for an idea, for a commission. This time I only did one, and I'm not spiritual or anything, but when these things happen, it's like it was meant to be, and it's like everything just went the way it was supposed to go with this movement from the very start. When Kulpreet started it, it started out as some sort of joke, but the reason why it blew up, because it did blow up, is because the entire community followed. If we didn't need this, we wouldn't be here talking about it.
Yeah, and I think that's right. I think if people didn't think we needed this space, then it wouldn't have taken off. But we've had a lot of people come to us and say this is something that we really needed, and I guess that's why it's taken off in the way that it has.
So I wanted to ask you, Sebastian, another question while I'm going to show some of the headers that you prepared for the sisterhood as well. Like my question is, like, which are the inspirations behind the logo? Like, why did you choose this color palette especially, or like why did you put something of yourself, or like is there something behind the creation process of the logo, which we're going to show?
There's a little bit. There's a little bit of myself.
Okay.
Let's say that at the very beginning, when I started coloring this, I had no idea what I was going. I didn't know what I was going to do with it. When I had the line art, I was like, I need to come up with a palette, or the right colors. And I did Google what color was more appropriate to represent the fight for equal rights for women. And I found a few. I was surprised to find so many. And initially, the logo was supposed to be like, it was supposed to be like a flat kind of logo, like very minimal. And this is something that you guys don't know either, because I never showed you these work in progress. I only showed you when I started doing the gold version of it. It was supposed to be like very flat, and that it went from black to purple. And I hated it. I didn't really like it. And then I went back to look for all the other insignias in the series, and I kind of saw the Origins one, and it was golden, and I was like, well, that makes sense. I'm just gonna go for it. As for the background, I usually try a lot of different backgrounds when I do these kind of designs that require one, because the designs are mostly about an object or a logo per se. But this time, for some reason, I knew it right away that it was going to be that specific shade of lavender, and this is where the little bit of personal comes in, and that's because that specific color is my mom's favorite color. So I was like, I'm just going to put this here. It's the first woman I ever respected, and that's the reason why the entire AC community right now is rocking that specific shade of purples because of my mother. Yeah.
That's a very nice gesture, actually, and it has like a personal meaning to it, which is very interesting, to be honest. Yeah.
So that's it.
I have another question while we're collecting some of the questions from the community in the chat. What is the average? Like you've touched a bit upon this. Like, what is the average reaction that you have seen or experienced with regard to this movement since it started?
We have had a lot of support, and I can't deny that the support has been overwhelming. We've had support from community members, we've had support from developers at Ubisoft, we've even had a piece published on Games Rant too. So we have had some amazing support. But I guess with anything, with any movement that you do organise, you are going to get some kind of hate with it, and we have experienced some of that. But I guess was to be expected, and it's really kind of flagged the sort of people that we wouldn't want to invite into any of our safe spaces. For example, we're in the process of setting up a Discord, and I guess if people are displaying behaviors like that, we're not going to let them in, because it just goes completely against the whole point of this. And I guess what I've been trying to do personally, and Sebastian has been doing the same thing as well, and a lot of people have been doing the same, is when they encounter a troll, is just to try and educate them first as to why we are doing this. And I've actually seen examples where people have changed their minds and have said, you know what, I do understand this now, because some people come to like just see the hashtag, for example, and it's really easy on Twitter when you've got no context to click on a hashtag, see all these posts, and I guess people come on there thinking, oh my God, like they're trying to get rid of like male assassins. They just want male assassins now. So they'll click on the hashtag, they will look through all the posts, they won't know what the aims or the context of the movement is, and then they will just send you hate. And most of the time it's not very nice. And I've just been really trying to sort of say, well, are you aware of what's going on? And like I've said quite a few times, people do turn around and say, yes, okay, understand that, that's fine. But then you do get people who will just argue with you. And I guess they're the kind of people that it's just not worth engaging with.
One thing I would like to add to this is that they're not that many. They're very loud and they look like they're many. Yeah. They're not. It's always just the same 3-4 people coming over and over with the same argument.
Yeah.
We have a lot more support than we have opposition to this.
Agreed. I agree with that. I guess sometimes it's easier just to focus on
the negative.
I see in the chat that someone is saying, like, is this AC Community Christmas? Because Gabe is here in the chat and Darby is here as well.
Oh my God,
this is crazy.
Hey guys.
And a lot of members of the community that have been supporting the movement for the past few days are in here as well. So hello to everyone.
Everybody's awesome.
Everybody's awesome. And on that note, I'd like to show some of the fan arts that have been pushed while supporting the movement, because like this is not just about supporting like existing people or like characters as well, but it's also like creating content to support the movement. And it's something that like personally hit me pretty much, because like it's kind of like very interesting to me to see that like fans are creating content to support the cause. So we're seeing some of the art right now. What do you guys think of this? Like, are you? What is your reaction to seeing like the community creating content over something that you created?
I'm blowing. It's just, that's the only way I can describe it, and I just appreciate it so much how people are supporting this movement that means so much to so many people, and it's amazing. I just never thought it would kick off like this, I guess, but to see the fans' content is just, it's so heartwarming. And I love it when, you know, the community come up and show you fan art of like the lesser known characters in AC. Like I saw a lot of fan art of Claudia the other day, and it just really warmed my heart, because I was just like, you know, we see so many fan arts of like the main characters, like there's so much Etsy art out there. And then sometimes you see like a Claudia art and you're like, oh my God, like this is amazing. And like, it
is. I kind of love all the art that has been produced, and we're sharing one that like by Thirsty Pasta, who created like an Eevee with a redesign of the AC Sisterhood logo. It's something that you, Sebastian, shared a few days ago. It's
mind-blowing to me.
Yeah.
It's I think normally I would be, as an artist, like a little jealous of my art, but seeing people even asking for the original logo to do their own designs, it's very heartwarming. Like I don't see this specific logo as like something that belongs to me because I did it. It just belongs to everybody. I know it sounds like very lame, but and specifically when I see a redesign of this, it's just it makes me very proud in a way. So yeah, only positive vibes from this.
There's been a lot of videos as well people have made, like the
Oh yes,
AC Universe one.
that was
Oh my god, like
freaking amazing.
I was a mess when I watched that.
You share that one like 8 times in a day.
I know. Watch it again.
Yeah, that was
it's too much.
that was amazing, because like all the videos that go on that channels are not just a video to like videos to showcase stuff, but also like they convey a message. And that one specifically about the sisterhood was pretty interesting because of the like the final message by Aya and stuff like that. That was like crazy. You kind of mentioned a bit of like the negative reactions, like to the sisterhood. I've seen that, like you have shared very recently, like a few hours ago, sort of like a statement to show what the sisterhood movement is and what it is not. Like, how do you deal with the negative comments? Like, is this hitting you? Like, is this taking a toll on you, or like, are you still able to deal with them?
That's the question, isn't it? I think the more I engage with the negative comments, the more draining it is. I think that's true to say with anything really, regardless. And I'm not just talking in terms of the sisterhood, but it can take a toll on you. I think personally for me as well, being a woman, and people say I've just had like some comments which I'm not going to share, which have just been kind of really hateful, and I think I'm getting better now at just ignoring them and just focusing on the positive. But I guess sometimes, like I've said before, it is the education piece that you sometimes need to push. Some people would just come to you and say, well, we don't need this, like, why are you starting this? And then you can just say, well, that again fed into why I posted that statement, because it has everything in it as to like the context, why we're doing it, and what our aims are. So if somebody then comes along and said, why do we need this? You can just link them to that post and say, well, this will tell you everything you need to know. So yeah, I guess I'm trying to educate people as to why we need it, but then you just do get some people who just don't want to be educated and just don't want to know. And yeah, I think it's just not worth kind of engaging with those kind of accounts. And I think a lot of people as well kind of jump into the conversations that people kind of tweet. I think I've seen this happen quite a lot. Say somebody like a troll will come along and tweet me or tweet Sebastian, and then somebody else will come along. But I think if you click on that person's profile, and somebody pointed this out to me the other day, so it's like a tip for dealing with trolls, is just to see when the profile was created, how many followers and stuff that they have, and see whether it is actually worth engaging with them, because it might just be the case that this person just wants to start a fight. So it's getting better.
And like we've touched upon on the negative and positive comments. You kind of like mentioned there was support by the devs and people that worked on the game as well. So I wanted to ask you a bit, like, how did you feel about this, and like, do you feel also like if the support comes from the devs, then do you think that there is some like fire from within the company as well that can push to like bring this change that everyone is asking about?
I like to hope there is. I mean, we can never know for definite what's going on internally, but I know that we are being seen and we are being heard. So we just need to keep kind of pushing the message, and hopefully it will bring about that meaningful change that we need. I guess for you, Sebastian, I'm going to field the question to you. So how do you feel about seeing your art on like Derby's like icon and everybody's headers? Like, how does that feel for you?
Sebastian?
Speechless.
Yeah, I mean, I think it's yeah, I don't think I need to add anything to this. I mean, it's really good. It feels rewarding, especially the best part of this all is that it all happened so fast and so natural. When I did the logo and when we posted it, I was actually, I don't know if we told you that, we were chatting with Marco and Sari before we were making the debut with the logo, and I was like, and I was telling him, so yeah, we're gonna show this logo soon, and it's gonna probably have about 46 likes.
Oh, I
and
remember
that's it.
that.
Yeah. And then the thing just literally blew in a matter of minutes. And the best part is how rewarding that was, that it ended up being, without starting it as, I don't know how to put it, but you know, sometimes when I do art, I do it and I expect it to be appreciated, and I, you know, just as an artist, I want that love. I crave that love. And this one, I just really wanted to support you and the movement. And I knew that this was going to be really hard, and we were probably going to get a lot of opposition from trolls.
Yeah.
And instead, it was met with so much love, and that was struck me, that we were not after that, but that's what we got. So yeah, it was great.
I agree. I totally agree. I mean, I wasn't expecting it to blow up as much as that, and just to see all the love and I guess people just really understanding where this was coming from was really, really nice. People understood the symbolism behind the logo itself and what we were trying to portray. And I guess that's just so rewarding when you are actively trying to make a change. And so for people to come on board and really rally the support has just been amazing. I mean, I don't think I've seen the community kind of come together like this ever. Like there's like distant pockets of the community, of the AC community, and to see everybody kind of coming together for one cause has just been phenomenal. And we've, I've got to mention the 4 pillars as well. They've been very supportive of the movement, and I've just, in my experience, and I've been part of the community for years, I've just not seen the community unite like that, and it's for such a good cause, and it just makes me emotional, really.
And shout out to the 4 pillars.
Shout out to the 4 pillars. Like, that was like I didn't see that coming, and I actually appreciated that. Like to see that, like the community coming together, like from all 4 corners of the community to support the movement. That was pretty interesting. And like speaking of bringing change, we had a question by Sarah M, who asked, like, how can we help out as gamers, the movements, and as devs, publishers working in the industry outside of UB? Like, how can everyone help in pushing all of this?
I guess it's just to be as loud as you can. So keep using the hashtag on social media. So that's hashtag AC Sisterhood. If you want to do any pieces on that, that's fine. Get the message out. We are looking into doing some podcasts and hopefully some live streams as well, where we can showcase community members. We can basically just try and get people together to showcase particular community members and also their content. So there's quite a lot of ways you can support us, but I guess the main thing is just to keep being loud and try not to let this all sort of die out. And as I said before, in the process of setting up a Discord as well. So once that's all set up, we'll all have somewhere where we can collectively sort of come together and hang out and discuss ways in which we want to create content for everybody.
Before we get into the last questions and then the other potential questions by the community, I kind of like mentioned a bit before that you put out like a statement about the sisterhood. Can you talk about a bit about it? Like, what are like the main elements of the statement and like the main misconceptions and stuff like that?
Yeah, sure. So we've already kind of been over the context before. So the statement just kind of sets out the background to everything, which we've obviously covered. Yep. And then we've got our aims as well. So it's basically, well, we've already covered it, but just in case anybody's joining, it's just to basically celebrate, highlight, and basically appreciate all of the incredible women in the AC franchise itself, the developers, and in the community, just giving them a really safe space and a place where we can basically let them have their moment and let them shine. And as well, the second point as well is just to kind of make some noise to try and flag the real need for there to be a change within Ubisoft too. I mean, with everything that's come out, it's just shocking and it's heartbreaking, and these women really do need a safe place at work as well, and that's really important, because people play the games, but I guess sometimes people forget that there are people behind these games, and they deserve to be respected. They deserve to have the recognition, and it's really unfair as well when have ideas for like female protagonists and they're scrapped or they're diminished. And I think from a creative perspective, that's really sad, because you could have had something so different and so amazing that was just kind of struck down by somebody who believes that women don't sell. So hopefully that's I hope that our movement can kind of flag the need for change in that area. And the statement also touches upon what this movement is not about. So again, we've covered this, but it's not an attack on the Brotherhood or the word Brotherhood. We're not saying at all that every single Assassin's Creed game coming out has to have a female protagonist. That's not what we're saying at all. We're not saying go back and remake all the games with female protagonists. I actually do not know where that came from. It's really, really illogical. Don't know what that's going to achieve. As much as I would love to kind of replay kind of the Ezio trilogy with a female, it's just not going to happen. That's not what we're asking for. And it's also not a boycott on Ubisoft as well. It's absolutely not that. We want them to change, and we know they've got the capabilities to change. So it's just, I guess, just making noise to tell them that, you know what, something does need to change and you need to take action.
I'm seeing people asking in the chat if there can be in the future sisterhood meeting or like meet up in somewhere around London. Like Marta is asking for it. Would you like to do something about like that when all the pandemic stuff is like hopefully gone at some point?
Absolutely. We did a Mentors Guild meetup in London for the Symphony, which went really, really well. And I guess once the world's gone back to normal, or the new normal, whatever that will be, we will look at doing some meetups. I think that would be great. I think that would be fantastic.
That's pretty
off the ground.
Someone like another question that we prepared about the movement is like, are there medium or long-term plans for the movement? Like now you are pushing for like all the super valued points that you mentioned. Like, are there plans for the medium and long term? I'm talking like the next weeks or months ahead or longer.
Yeah, I guess in my mind there is. I mean, just if we do in the future get a female protagonist, I guess the work doesn't stop there. We're not going to stop appreciating women and giving them a spotlight just because it's a female protagonist now. Women deserve to be respected at all times and highlighted and showcased, and that's the message. Hopefully this won't just be some sort of, really kind of short movement. I really hope that this can be something that can just continue as part of the AC community. So we do have the space for women. It's not in any way intended to be sort of like a short-term thing. It's there for as long as the community members need it for.
So I think that, sorry to interrupt, I think that in a way we don't want this to go on for too long, meaning that we want to shout as much as we need for the world to not need this anymore. That's the whole point. Like to eventually stop doing this because there's no need for it anymore. That it means that Ubisoft has started doing the right thing.
Yeah, like my next question would have been like, is there like an end game, like something like what would be the condition that would bring you to say that the sisterhood movement has reached its purpose? Like, is there a final point that you want to reach and where you can say, okay, I'm satisfied by how things are right now?
Oh, that's tough.
Proving it.
Sebastian, I totally agree with what you're saying. It's a different perspective on the movement, but it's absolutely true. I guess from our perspective, we just want to make sure that there is better representation for women in games, and the devs and everybody in Ubisoft, there's better treatment for them as well. I think that's the end goal. Like what Sebastian says, it's got to get to a point where we don't need to be making noise for there to be change.
Yeah.
And that doesn't mean that we have to disappear.
No. We have another question by John Marston Dancing. That's a pretty thing to think of. Anyway, what setting would you like to see a female assassin in? Like
literally any.
So,
I don't think like there's a specific setting that works better for a female, or it's just anything could work with anyone as long as it's truly inspired and not cock blocked by executives. Sorry for the lack of elegance.
It's fine.
I would really see a Xiao Yun game. I'd really love to see that. I know she was in Chronicles, but it's, in my mind, that doesn't really count.
Like I feel like shouting and expecting them to get back on their steps and give us something about something that is already done, badly or not, it's not a good thing. We need to look forward. We need to go ahead and bring new things, and that does justice to representation. We don't need to go back in time and say, okay, now we need to redo Origins with Aminet because that's what the rumors say it was supposed to be. It is what it is. That's what happened. Let's let that go and move forward.
I do agree with that. I see a lot of people in the chat asking for a Xiaojun game, but to be honest, because a lot of fans really like Xiaojun as a character, but like to be honest, I agree with Sebastian. I would like to see something new that is actually pushing like a female character, like a single female character in her own story and in her own setting, rather than rebuilding something that has been there already.
All these amazing characters, which roles have been diminished, are not any less awesome or incredible than what they are. So we don't need to revisit them. We don't need to change what happened. This is what happened. We'll take it, but we need to move forward.
Learn from it and move forward. I think that's the message, isn't it? It's just, I guess I understand why people want a Xiao Yun game, because you had Embers, which was the perfect intro to her game, and then it just didn't happen. So I understand. I totally understand that, but then I agree. It's the whole remake thing is just, I guess, not very logical. Like I think we just need to focus on going forward, whatever setting that they're working on or whatever. Just bring us a female lead, to fixed one. So yeah.
I also feel like that would be like some sort of bad move from them. It would be like admitting that they did something wrong, which they should, but I can expect them not to do that. While doing something new would do right and just open a whole new page for everybody.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, this whole this is a point which a lot of people have raised, and I think it's a point that people don't understand, is this whole point around the ability to choose in Odyssey and in Valhalla. And personally, the way I look at it is that element of choice wouldn't have been so bad if actually they would have given us a few female protagonists, fixed protagonists, before they introduced that element of choice. I just think if they wanted to do choice, then why didn't they give us some female protagonists before they introduced that choice? That's something that I just can't, just don't understand. And yeah, I just it's just something that kind of, when that mechanism was announced, I just thought, well, why haven't they given us a few, like some females before they've done this? And I guess having a choice isn't really the same as having a single female fixed protagonist where that story is written for her, that narrative is for her.
Yes.
And there's the potential as well for the devs to explore her development, and also traits that women have that men might not necessarily have. I just think having one narrative for two characters, which is what Odyssey did, didn't really work in terms of exploring those nuances between genders. So I just think if we had our female one, that would play out completely differently than having the choice.
Yeah, I do agree.
It's somewhat of hypocritical because, you never committed to do a female one. It was always a male one. And then all of a sudden you were like, you have choice now. Equality. But that's not how it works.
So,
Yeah. Like, I do agree with the fact that, like, a story focused on a female character would also, like, showcase better, like, the struggles that women can face and that have faced throughout time. I've been reading the Assassin's Creed manga that was published in Japan in the last few weeks and months, and there is a focus in a chapter on Xiao Jun's friend when she's young, like 11 or 12 years old, and there is a focus on how the imperial concubines had to dress in a specific way and like bind their feet and their breasts in a way to like appear to look better for the emperor and something like that, like conventions of the time that forced women to behave in a specific way even if they didn't want to, and that was very interesting to see in the manga. But at the same time, like seeing something like that represented in a game, not a Xiao Jun game because there have been too much already probably, but like in general, like these kind of topics would be pretty interesting to see in a game, hopefully in the future.
Yeah. I guess you couldn't really expect that, could you, in a game where you've just got choice and the narrative is written for both?
Yeah, exactly. I think there's always like that kind of like underlying issue that if you're preparing a story for both male and female protagonists, you cannot either look at like the traits that or like the challenges that a female character would face, or like specific challenges that a male character will face. So it's you cannot focus on that. We have a question by Gindalif. He says, or she says, I read a lot of discussion about this on Twitter. What is your guys' opinion on the conflict in AC between history or historical accuracy versus female characters? That's been going on for a long time.
Yeah.
Do you have a hour or so to discuss this?
It's a whole nother live stream.
I mean, let's talk about historical accuracy in a game with magical spheres and blankets that bring you back to life. True. And 100 meters falls into haystacks.
It just gives me, it actually gives me a headache when people say stuff like that, because at the end of the day, I get that it's a video game, but women deserve representation in these video games. And when you have like you say, like these magical blankets, you have a magical apple, and you have you jump off tall buildings and you into a conveniently placed hay bale and come out completely fine, run on, and I just feel like it's not really an argument. I mean, to me, it just doesn't. To say that we can't put a woman in this game because it's not historically accurate, it doesn't personally for me sit right.
Like for me, the issue is not even necessarily, like we've discussed this between the mentors a few days ago. It's not even necessarily the issue about like comparing like historical inaccuracy with the sci-fi elements of the franchise, but in general, AC in its historical portrayals has always taken a few liberties, like in the past as well. Like Notre Dame. Sorry, not Notre Dame. Like the Bastille is still there even after it should be destroyed in Unity. There are some locations in AC4 that weren't portrayed the way they should have been, and in general, also like the artists push to have their vision in the game that sometimes clashes with the historical accuracy. So there's always been like this sort of like gray line, or like this sort of like blending between history but also like art and representation and stuff like that. So it's not always AC has not almost never been like super historical accurate. Obviously it's representing historical periods, but at the same time
it's almost like it was made for entertainment.
What?
Video games.
Wow, yes. It's like that. And I remember for Origins there were like there in the Discovery Tour there was like this tiny mention of the fact that the devs had added like female kids NPCs like in the areas where like kids were learning how to draw or like how to be scribes, and like female like young female kids couldn't be there because like the conventions of society back then didn't allow for that. And I remember there was like there were a few complaints about that, and I was like, there's no need for that. Like, to be honest, like this is a representation. Like this is also a product for our time, so it's like it's also bringing representation today. Like for us, it's not necessarily
like
only.
If there is someone, sorry to interrupt you, if there is someone who should be upset at this, it should be the people in 40 BCE. You know, those people in the past should be upset for not feeling rightfully represented. It's like, what? There's women in our schools? Like, but not in 2020. Come on.
Yeah, that's the thing. That's how I feel about that as well.
And I guess in any event, there's been periods in history and female like women who are in history, they are powerful women, like Joan of Arc. You've got Boudica. You've got people, so many women who are fighters and are warriors. So for people to come and say, oh, women didn't fight, it's not historically accurate, it just makes me a little bit mad, because it's like, please use Google and educate yourself, because there were women who did fight, and very, very strong women throughout history.
Do we have other questions? No? Let's see in the chat, but I think... okay, I see a question by Jas. What do you think they should do with Layla? The movement has taken off and they could do much more with the character. What kind of changes would you want that reinforce the movement's message? With Layla? Would you see some support of the movement with Layla? Well,
look, modern day has always been set during our modern day.
Oh yes.
So and I remember Layla did have a laptop. Maybe she could use it to, I don't know, spread the message.
I guess.
You know?
Yes. Maybe she could have like a tiny sisterhood logo on her laptop. Who knows?
Like a sticker.
That'd be grand.
I think we're good. Yes. Okay. Yeah, and like we've been going on already for like an hour or so. So I think there is a question in the chat. Again, it's not necessarily about the movement, but the three of us are mentors, so we can try or not to address that. Like, how do you become a community mentor? There should be like another live stream dedicated to that, because it's not.
We could do another live stream about that.
Yeah, probably we should address that in another. Yes. Okay, there's another question again. Okay, this is by Hamid. Yes. So, do you think AC Sisterhood may even go further than Ubisoft and may make other women in the gaming industry stand against injustice? Wow.
Oh yes, we're gonna buy Ubisoft, and that's it. We're just gonna run it.
I mean, I would be happy to see like if this is used as an example for like other communities to do the same. If this can work as an inspiration for like, because this is very much focused on AC and like the AC devs and the AC characters and the AC community. But it would be interesting if this acted as an example or an inspiration for other communities.
That would be great.
And we have a question. This is, I think, for Kulpreet. What about the Discord channel? When, like, will we see it soon? Because there are rumors about this Discord channel.
Where's the Discord channel, Kulpreet?
Where is it?
Asking me this. I was right. It's coming. Okay, it'll be here soon. I'm just sort of trying to make sure it's all nice and secure for you all, because I don't really use Discord myself a lot. So there's been a lot of "Can you help me, please?" from me going to quite a lot of people. And I've been trying to firefight on Twitter as well. So because I didn't really expect it to all kind of blow up like this, but very, very soon it will be coming along, and I will be asking everybody on Twitter about what they want to see from the Discord, what kind of topics, channels, etc. People want to have on there, so it's all set up correctly. But there is one coming. I promise you, there is one coming very soon, and I'll share the details once that's live.
Okay.
Before we end this, before we wrap it up, would you guys like to read what Assassin's Creed Sisterhood is not about? From Kulpreet's.
like to reiterate on this. Like, I think that it's I agree with that. Like, I think that it's best to like state it over and over again.
Yes.
Even like for the fans that might have joined after we've discussed that. So you should read it.
Kulpreet, want to go ahead with me? 1 point each?
Yeah. Are you going to start? You can start.
Okay. Let me find it.
I was just doing the same thing.
What this movement is not about. There have been a number of false statements on social media about the movement. AC Sisterhood is not a direct attack on the Brotherhood. We appreciate all male assassins in the Assassin's Creed universe. We are not looking to cancel them or replace them with females. Nor are we asking for all previous games to be remade with female leads or to stop using the word Brotherhood. Our name is simply a play on words.
It's not a movement just for women or those who identify as women. We welcome all who respect and share our goals.
It's not asking for all protagonists in the future games to be female.
It's not an attack on those in the community who choose to play as male in games where choice is available. We respect your choices.
It's not a boycott of Ubisoft. We know that Ubisoft is capable of doing better, and many want Ubisoft to do better. We are hoping that this movement highlights the need for internal change so that women in the company can shine. All women deserve to be treated with respect in the workplace.
There you go.
That is pretty powerful.
That's it.
Yeah. Thank you very much for reading that, because I think this needs to come across. I've seen a lot of comments, and I cannot even imagine how many you guys have seen.
Thank you, Kulpreet, for writing it. We really needed something like that to use against the trolls.
Yeah. Facts.
Okay, so there are several questions in the chat. Several people asking the same question. If you guys, do you need any help with the channel, with the Discord, with the movement? Like, is there any way that people can help you?
The Discord.
I guess we're gonna get all the help possible.
Sorry?
Yeah, I agree. I think it's great because everybody's offering to help, and I guess when I'm sort of finalising the Discord, I will on my Twitter account just put out if there are any sort of mod roles or etc. Anything that can help. I guess the thing that I probably not need help, but just input is how you would all like to have this Discord run. So if there's any particular sort of channels that you would like to see, for example, I kind of tease the idea of having like a book club sort of channel, or like a something just for the novels or the graphic novels and the comics and stuff, just a separate channel for that. So just any input into how you think this Discord should be set up, that would be really helpful for me.
Okay.
The Discord.
Okay, so last question, and then we wrap up. This is James. Okay, well, question is, what was the biggest obstacle to overcome for the movement as of now? I would add.
There's no obstacles.
Oh.
Nothing can stop it.
Great.
Epic answer. But really,
What
yes.
more do you want me to add? Yeah.
All right then. All right. Well, guys, thank you so much for joining us and for taking some of your time to share all this info and like these comments about the movement. I think this was very much needed for the community, and hopefully like we can share this, like the VOD of this live stream. So if people have additional questions, we can still get to answer them. Thank you so much for joining and for being here.
Thank you for having us. Where is Kulpreet? Where is Kulpreet compared to me? Is she there or here?
Yeah, it's like on the other side. That one. All right then. Thank you all in the chat for joining. It was a pleasure to see you all and read all your questions. Thank you for participating. It was so nice. Keep following us on ATA. We'll keep sharing the love for the sisterhood. Thank you all. Take care.
Thank you.
Bye.
Thank you, everybody.
Thank you.